Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review impressions of a knife that I was allowed to check out in the YouTube Apex Pass Around. So let's get into this. It is the Benchmade 710. Alright, so getting into this knife, it's been a very interesting knife. I know it's fought with a little bit of controversy for a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are very adamantly opposed to Benchmade right now due to some of their pricing, and I have to admit some of their pricing does seem a little bit high, and especially if you pay full retail price. I will say, if you're paying full retail price, you're not probably looking around. That's my first thing. But before we get into that, let's review the knife. Let's talk a little bit about the knife. Let's talk about the materials. Let's talk about some of the things about this particular knife. All right, so this particular knife had a history, a rich history. It was one of the first access lock knives, if not the first, I believe, in 1999. I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, you guys can correct me, but it was a couple of designers who brought this together. It was Bill McHenry and Jason Williams. They were renowned custom knife makers, and they were working with Benchmade. And so this is the 25th anniversary of the knife, the 710. This particular version is going to be Benchmade, manufactured here in the USA. The name of the knife is 710, typically spelled out in the letter 7, and then it has a pike and 10. That's how I see it's always listed in many places. Some people will just spell it, do the number 710, which I think is fair as well. But manufacturer is Benchmade, USA company. And then also, let's talk about the materials. The scales here are aluminum. A steel deep pocket carry clip does have a lanyard loop, steel liners on the inside. Thumb studs as well. It is an axis lock, but it's kind of a newer version of the axis lock. In my unboxing, I posted a link to Zach's stuff, who actually did a disassembly. This is his knife, so I'm not going to disassemble this. And if you're curious, there'll be a link down below again to Zach's disassembly video. Definitely worth checking out if you wanted to see the inside. But Zach feels like this should be called the axis lock version 2. I get it. It's a very different lock, and it has a lot of things in there that make it very popular. You can manipulate this one-handed. All right, there's a lot of one-handedness that you can do with the design of the crossbar lock on the inside. I like that. There's this bronze axis control. Oh, there you go. There's the McHenry and Williams. You can see that right there, right? There's a lot of the bronze anodization that occurs with the backs, the standoffs, the pivot collars, and then the deep pocket carry clip, and the blade itself. Let's go ahead and flick this. It is, like I said, a crossbar lock, which is called the axis lock. Benchmade was the first one to come out with it. Their patent ran out. That's why you see a very popular around now. A lot of branding here. There's the Benchmade butterfly logo, and then over here you have the S90V, which is the blade steel, and then of course Henry and Williams, and then you also have, of course, Benchmade website, which I don't know why you put that on there, but anyways. So steel liners, you can see there's some cutout, weight relief. It does feel relatively light. This is a big knife. This is not a small knife. If you've got giant hands, this might be up your cup of tea. Okay, I mean, you can definitely have some positions for choking up and some other things, and you can see that is meant for you to probably choke up too, with the jimping there and the jimping back there, which is functional when you push down. So the materials, S90V blade steel, which is CPM, which is crucible materials. It's a powdered metallurgy. I can't talk. A metal fabricated steel, right? So it is a very long blade. Looks a little bit like I don't know what blade it looks like. It's a long blade. It's a drop point. Wouldn't call this a clip point. It actually drops. It's got a nice big belly. It does have a recurve here, so that if you're a fan of recurves, cool. If you're not, keep that in mind. That's going to be a little more challenging to sharpen. It's not a terrible recurve, so it's not super difficult, but just keep that in mind. It is a crossbar lock, and it does work like a normal crossbar lock. You do have the ability to, also, let me do that again. Let's close this. You have the ability to open and close it with the crossbar lock, right? So there's that. So I can close this like this, and then I can, it's a big blade, so I don't want to hit my camera because it's not much room to get close there because this is a big knife. So It opens and closes relatively well. It's phosphor bronze washers in there. It's not bearings, so it does have that. You can break it in. It gets pretty smooth. It was it was a little, it's actually a little more centered now than it was when I first got it. It's been off to the left a little bit. I did talk to Zach about that, and he said that was pretty centered when he sent it out. So I'm not sure if people have been disassembling it or what. I will not take a knife that's loaned to me by the pass around apart. It is not my knife. You can fault me for it because you may not feel like I'm doing a thorough review. If it's my knife, there's a lot of things I'll do with my knives that I won't do with others. And there are things I choose not to do with my knives because these are my knives. I use them how I use them. I am not a bushwhacker. I'm not a survivalist. I'm not a special ops. I'm like 98% of you guys out there. I use my knives around the house for different chores, opening boxes, packages, cases of dog food, cat food, fertilizer, mulch, cases of water, letters, envelopes, cut strings, cut rope, whatever. That's what I use my knife for. But this is not my knife, so I'm not going to use that here. And it's not a hard use knife test. So I just wanted to get a chance to feel it. The ergonomics, how does it open and close, right? How easy does it work left-handed? It does have some nice texturing on here, which does work to kind of give you some grip. There's some nice chamfering here that gives you enough squareness that left-handed you can control it, but it's a big knife, so it's kind of hard to work that crossbar lock with the left hand without the clip. You can reverse this clip. It's made for right hand and left hand tip up only, so that's nice. Keep that in mind as well. Let's see what else. I talked about the pivot collar, talked about the materials, talked about the phosphor bronze, talked about the materials. So let's do some measurements on this guy. Let's get the measurements on this particular Benchmade. All right, so 4 ounces, 4.8 ounces, so almost 5 ounces, 4.8 ounces. So it's a big boy. It's not a little knife. It's definitely a larger knife. Let's talk about the overall length. You'll see here the overall length on this guy. It is not short. So let's, of course, I just had it right there. There we go. So we're looking at a knife that's going to be just shy of 9 inches. I mean, this is like, they list it as 8.95 inches overall, but I would say that's probably pretty accurate. It's just shy of that. Your overall grip here you have is from here to here. It gives you about 4.5 inches of grip. If you choke up, you get a full 5 inches of grip. Now that's important. So if you have I have large hands with meaty fingers. So if you have extra large hands with regular fingers, double extra large hands with thinner fingers, it's about your grip right here, right? So plenty of room for extra large, double extra large, meaty finger hands. And if you choke up, which you can choke up because there's a little jimping there, you could choke up for a very precision cut like that. It'll hold, always be careful because it could slide, but if you do need to cut up for a particular cut, it gives you a whole lot extra room. Yeah, so there's that in mind. Let's go ahead and measure the blade length. All right, the blade length from the tip to the back is just a hair under 4 inches. I would say it's 4 inches. Depending on how much you sharpen that tip, it's like right at 4 inches. Overall cutting length, we're looking at, I want to say 3 7/8. 3 7/8 is the cutting length on that. So it's a large blade. It's a lot to cut with, right? So if you don't like smaller knives, you like bigger knives, this is definitely something to consider for sure. What is the category? I mean, is this a budget? Is it a regular high-end, a custom knife? So it's definitely not a budget or a regular knife. It's well into the higher-end knife, $300 to $600 range. It's listed at $405. I would say if you pay $405, you haven't looked hard enough. I just my 2 cents on this thing, I don't think it's worth $405. Okay, I think it's definitely some quality knife. It's some of their better stuff. I will not deny that. I think this knife and the materials, what you're getting for this knife, even there was a black aluminum version that's just Magna Cut, that was $600. It's ridiculous. That Magna Cut to S90V is not that worth $200 more premium. Just because you colored it black, that you don't get to charge $200 more. Oops, a little wind blew over some paper over there. Let's move that out of the way. So the wind does not allow you to charge 200 extra. I mean, the wind, the coating does not allow you to charge 200 extra, nor the steel. So I think you should get at least 10% off. That means you're paying like maybe $360 if you get 10% off. And if you're able to get 20% off, you might be paying $320. I think, my personal opinion, I would feel comfortable if I really wanted this knife and this aesthetic, this size and everything appeals to me, I would be comfortable with a $300 to $350 range. Okay, that's where I stand. I might pay a little bit more than $350, but $350 is a range I would want to be paying for a knife like this. It's just, I don't think it's worth $405. I will tell you, Tactile Knife Company came out with a recent one that I did get my hands on. This is the Bob Terzola design. It's the Mariner 2. It's a copy of the Mariner 1, USA made knife, Magna Cut 6364, titanium, beautiful milling on the inside. Thumb discs, which are titanium. Action is ridiculous. This liner lock is fantastic. This was $427. Some people even think that's high, but looking at the quality of this knife, I put Skiffs in there, and the action is just beautiful. I think that's worth $427. This is not worth $405. I like it. It's not a knife I will ever own because it's too big. It's just way too big. I'm not going to carry a knife this big. I carry big knives. Trust me, I have some bigger knives. So let me see if I have them out. But I do have some bigger knives. I mean, I don't know. Is my Koenig close to that size? Yeah, it's sort of close, right? So that's kind of a bigger knife. Then we have what else do we have over here? We have a couple of. Ooh, I got a couple of things. Yeah, here's a couple of knives that are pretty big in size. That would be comparable, right? We've got a Wee Knives. This is the Nitro OG. And then, of course, I've got the Vero Engineering right here, which is the Lux, and they're pretty close in size. If you look at that, almost at that 9-inch. This one's a little bit bigger. Well, it might actually be almost the exact same size. Yeah, they're really close. The Nitro OG are probably the two closest one in size, and then you have the Lux, which is pretty close, and then the Koenig, which is just a bit smaller. But these knives right here, these handle and work really well for their size. I don't feel like they're too big, right? So they work really well in hand. Likewise with the Nitro OG by Wee Knives, this is a Peter Carey design, a very close representation of his custom work, which I've handled. It's ridiculously fantastic, and this is a real honor to it. But I tell you, I can handle this knife. I can handle this knife in its size, and it feels comfortable. This one feels awkward in my hand. It might work well in bigger hands, longer fingers. I think it might be a nice knife. I'm just telling you, if you have large hands and your hands are not super long, you can see my finger right here. You're looking at a 3-inch index finger, and probably going from here, 3¼ inch middle finger. So there you go. It's just something to keep in mind if you're considering this knife. I think there's some other alternatives out there, but I would definitely look for a sale price on this. I mean, it might be cool just you want it in your collection. I get it. That's fine. If you're a big Benchmade fan, I know a lot of you are not, so I get where people stand on that. I respect that. I may not, I don't always agree with you guys, but I respect that. I mean, come on. I know you disagree with me. I really like my Benchmade Narrows. I think that's a fantastic knife. I really enjoy this. I would not pay full price for this, but if you paid full price for this, I would say, I don't want to say you're dumb, but I would just say you didn't look around. I would say you missed out on opportunities, right? And I think at a better price, that knife is much more enjoyable, and you're not distracted by the cost, right? If you find a good sale on there, especially if you find it in the secondary market, that may be another place to go look, right? There are some people who buy this because it's a brand new knife, and then they feel like it's too big, whatever, it's not for them, and you might get a great deal in the secondary market. Definitely check that out, all right? So it's definitely in the higher end. Is this EDC hard use collection piece? Yeah, it can be. 710 is 20. What is? Did I say it was the 25th anniversary? Yeah, 25th anniversary. I was just looking at my notes. 25th anniversary of this particular design. So I mean, might be a collector's piece just for that alone. I get it. And this might be a little more affordable collector's piece than the $600 version, or the $1,200-$1,500 version that's you can't get now. It's probably worth $3,000 or $4,000. Anyways, definitely a collector's piece in that regard. But you definitely EDC and definitely hard use. I think that would work really well. I mean, it's S90V blade steel, which is relatively tough. It retains edge pretty well. I mean, I know some people can get chippy S90V. I find that not to be the case with the Benchmade's heat treat. So I think it tends to hold up well. So that's where I stand on it. Definitely can be that. Ergos and feel, overall design, handles, how it open and close. I mean, it handles well. It handles like a good Benchmade knife. So I have plenty of other Benchmade knives. I'm gonna grab a few over here that I personally enjoy and are in my collection. And that, I I didn't pay full price for, right? I got good deals on. So here's my Osborne. That's an S90V, same similar steel. I put my Rockscale Design custom scales on that, which made this really fantastic and I think even more enjoyable of a knife. I put some custom thumb studs so I could get past the scale, because they had a habit, you know, you have to kind of come at the Osborne. You can't come straight up. It kind of sometimes can really rip your skin, so you got to go kind of on the side, and it works the same for the back. And it is the traditional axis lock, so it doesn't work as well as one-handed as maybe this guy does, but that's a nice one. Then I have my Adamas, and some people think it's overpriced. Again, if you pay full price, I can see that, but I didn't. This beautiful Magna-Cut steel, this gorgeous carbon fiber, one of my favorite carbon fibers Benchmade has come out with. I did put my Lynch clip, deep carry clip on here, so I have titanium clips, not the steel clip, because the steel clip, I bend those really fast. This is also a Rockscale Design clip, and I also have a back spacer on there, and you can get different anodizations and some gorgeous hardware, so there's a lot of options for you with that if you like that. I'm sure at some point they may come out. If they come out with a G10 version of this that's a little more affordable, I could see that, right? But this Magna-Cut version, I really like this. So I'm just saying, you know, paying full price, all that stuff, in overall design, open and closing, all that stuff we're all putting in together. When you think about it, how is the action? I mean, the action's good. Opening and closing is not bad. I can work this pretty well one-handed. That's nice. Reminds me of a little bit of the Ram Lock with Microtech, right? They have their one-handed operation. So that's nice with a bigger blade like this. So I can also do a flick like that, which is nice, right? The texture's nice. It is nicely chamfered. There's no sharp hot spots anywhere, so all that's good. It does close relatively well for phosphor bronze, right? It's got good action. Like I said, I have good action on these other knives. I think that's why I brought them out in the first place. You can get, you know, phosphor bronze can have fantastic action and not have any blade play in there, so that's nice. That's nice, right? Overall feeling, opening, closing, it's good. It's good for a Benchmade. It doesn't have any bonus flick, bonus opening, or anything like that. Well, now that I say that, hold on. I thought I could. Can I do it left-handed? Almost. Well, I sort of can. I guess if I have this fully broken in, so let me try a second time over here. Ooh, almost. I'm almost there. Hold on. I got it. All right, so I guess you sort of have a little bonus flick. You can kind of probably work that in. The texture with the Cerakote on here makes it easier to do that with. I don't think I have that on this one. I really don't. Yeah, I really don't. And I know I don't have it on my Adamas because I don't have any grip to get down here. Even that little sort of fuller, you can't really get to. I can't really get to that. Well, hold on. Can I? Okay, I stand corrected, maybe. That's funny. That is hilarious. That's hilarious that you discovered this after the fact and you didn't even realize it. All right, very cool. That being said, what is the fidget factor on this? Well, you've got the axis lock. That gives you something. You've got that, and then you sort of have this. Yeah, let me see if I can get it. Come on. Yeah, you kind of have the bonus, and if I fidgeted enough with it, I could probably make that work regularly. All right, so it's not just a 1 or 2. I'm probably gonna give it 3. Okay, I'll give it a 4. I will tell you that works really well. Yeah, I'll give it a 5. I'm going to give this a 5 because I actually got that little bonus flick. I didn't expect that. And this axis lock is really, really nice. They executed this really, really well. I do like that a lot, especially with the one-handed action. So I think that's really cool. So I'll give it a 5. What is the fidgety goodness of this knife overall? It's not quite broken in. It's not mine. I think I could probably get it to something really stellar, like a good A. Maybe a 92, 93%. But as it stands right now, I'm going to give this a solid B+. It'll be a B, solid B, an 85. 85 is my fidgety goodness out of the 5 that you can have. It's not bad. I think for bigger hands, it'll be even better. So, but I'm going to give it a solid B. For my hand size, my ergos, the way I handle a knife, I'm going to give it a solid B. All right, so overall thoughts. Is it recommended? All right, so I have a little hang up with the price. If you pay full price, I've got to say no. I've got to say no. Okay, but if you can find this on sale, if you can get it at least 10, 20% off, or even cheaper, I mean, if you find this at $300, maybe 350. I'd say at 300, this is highly recommended. I'm not highly, it's recommended, okay? At 350, maybe recommend it. Above that price, no, I can't quite recommend it. So I'm gonna tell you that I didn't pay the 405. If I were going to buy this, I know where I could probably get this for about 350, if not less. So based on that and how I would acquire it if I was going to bring this in my collection, I will give it a recommended. It's barely recommended. It's close on the border of not being recommended, but it is done well. It's executed well. I mean, everything is done well as far as the knife is concerned. You know, everything's intentional on here. It works really well. The axis lock works great, or axis lock 2, as Zach Stuff would say, right? That works really well. I like the texture on the scales. They're really nice. All that works really nicely. So I'm going to say it's recommended, but it's not like go buy it tomorrow. I think it's more of a, does it appeal to you, and can you find it at a good price? If you love this and you're like, yeah, I'm just, no matter what, then go for it, man. A knife is worth what you're willing to pay for it. That's what it comes down to. If you're not willing to pay for this, it's not worth it to you, right? If you don't like Benchmade, it's not worth it to you. There's some of you guys who would never get a Koenig. I get it. You have no desire ever to get a Koenig. Fine, don't get a Koenig. There's some of you guys who absolutely despise this Rockwell Bob Terzula design. You know, you don't like a sheep's foot. You don't like the thumb discs. You don't like a liner lock. I get it. It may not be for you. I totally get it. Some of you guys will never like You'll never like knives. You may never like a frame lock, even if it's bolstered. I get it. That's not for you. So I think if you're a Benchmade fan, you're looking at this, you're either thinking, maybe I might like Benchmade, or you do like Benchmade. So I'm assuming that's how you check in the video out, or maybe you're just a fan of Rob's Nerdy Knives, and I appreciate you. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you watching the content, man. I'm humbled by you guys. I really am. But maybe you're genuinely looking for a Benchmade. I would say I would recommend it, but look for a good deal. Don't be impatient. Look for a good deal. Look at the used market. BladeBinge is out there as of this time. There's other companies out there, places to go shop, eBay and Reddit, I hear. But, you know, those are things I would look for. But I think it's done well. It is done well. So I've got to give credit that it's well done for Benchmade. It's not like some of their crappy stuff I've seen in the past, which I have. I've seen some stuff that was very below par for them. This is not. This is executed well. Just like my, where did I put it? My Magna Cut. This was executed really, really well when they came out with this one. Fantastic. Very happy with this knife. Just like my Osborne. It's always a classic, but you know, I wanted to put some fancy scales on here. This is executed well as well. So there you go. All right. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you think I'm an idiot, you disagree with me, you like what I'm saying, you have some different opinions, maybe you owned a knife and you have some thoughts on it. I'd love to hear it. But you know, don't just tell me I hate Benchmade, it's overpriced. We all know that. I mean, if it serves no purpose, if you're going to do that, go ahead, comment away. I mean, if you feel like you're going to get a gold star for it, there you go, gold star. But if you have some insight to this from your perspective of how you use a knife, I think everyone would love to hear that. Even if it's a positive or negative, right? If you're like, I work in this industry and this type of knife doesn't work well for me, or I do this and my calluses in my hands, I can't work this knife, or I do this and this knife is perfect. It's exactly what let us know. I'd love to hear that. I go from the perspective of an everyday user, and so it's a little big. It's not quite my ergos. If you've got much bigger hands, it might be a perfect fit. Love to hear that. All right, hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel, allows the channel to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you to every one of you guys out there who watch the videos, who like the videos, who subscribe. I sure appreciate you, especially if you watch the live streams and are part of all that. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, hit that notification button as well down below so you can be notified of future content like this video. And also to all my channel members, a big, huge thank you. I appreciate you guys. You really do allow the channel to do more things sooner than I ever thought we'd be able to do. So a big thank you to you guys. And if you've been on the fence, you thought, hey, I'd like to become a channel member, I would love to have you. Check out the link down below. There's in the description, there's 3 different tiers. I'd be honored. And as a small way for me to say thank you, I do a once a month members giveaway, usually a very exclusive night for the channel members. Try to make it extra special because you've been very generous with the memberships. As long as that keeps going on, I'm going to absolutely make these giveaways extra special. And then also, if you didn't already, brand new channel members or channel members who've been members for a while and are still a member now, or members who were a member and became a member again and are a member right now, and you've never asked me for a channel member sticker, email me with your name and address. I'd love to mail you a sticker to say thank you. And also, if you haven't already, check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.